It's early, but here at the gym, get my upper body lift in. It's kinda, I wanted to go to the park, but it's kinda rainy out today. Anyway, seems like there's a lot of people at the gym. I'm not sure if I'll film in there a ton. You know, I don't want the camera to make anybody else nervous when they're at the gym. So if there's a bunch of people in there, I don't usually set it up much. Guess we'll see. I hate when there's a lot of people at the gym. Not too bad in there today. Not as many people as I thought. Looking at I don't know, just another workout day. I got a question. Referee Scott asked me how I like my steaks cooked. And the answer is, I like my steaks cooked however. I like them well done, I like them medium, I like them rare. I like them cooked rare properly. I like it cooked all the way through. I don't want any cold meat. But if something's a little bloody, I'm usually okay with that. What I need on a steak, what I prefer, what I like, is I need some char. Like there's gotta be a little bit of char on the outside, some crispy, crunchy bits. That's what my steak needs. What happens in the middle, as long as it's not too tough, I'm fine with. You know, I kinda have a full afternoon. Maybe this needs to be, maybe this is a Q&A day. Robbie asked me what was my favorite pinfall wrestling show and my favorite pinfall wrestling match. My favorite show was Grand Wrestling Spectacle 2018. Pretty sure it was 2018. You can see, I'll link it somewhere. You can go watch the video. It's definitely one of my favorite vlogs, and I have a lot of fond memories of that show. Match is a little harder, man. Each match is so different and so subjective. Sometimes it's hard to pin down a favorite. One of my favorites was Attitude Inc. versus the Carnival at that show I was just talking about. I was really proud of several of the matches I had with Benz during one of my heavyweight title runs. Me and Benz we just had a really great chemistry. He was the kind of good guy that I liked to be the bad guy for, and they always just came out great. And also, definitely worth mentioning the match Attitude Inc. had with Technicolor Wonderland. That match was great. Noah asked for my favorite Eugene match. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure which I was more offended by, that they would put a gimmick like Eugene on a great wrestler like Nick Dinsmore, or that they would use a gimmick like Eugene at all. Like, that's just, Eugene was this gimmick where he was pretending to be a delayed man with, they never said what he had, Down syndrome or whatever. Very tasteless, very, very early 2000s. I have no good memories of that gimmick. Referee Scott also asked how long I've been with pinfall wrestling and how long me and Spencer were tag partners. Man, I really don't know off the top of my head. Pinfall wrestling just under 10 years. And I think me and Spence were tag partners. Attitude Inc. ran more than 10 years, I believe. I think we've been doing that since, gosh. We've been doing Attitude Inc. definitely since 2009 or 2010 at the latest. He also asked what you got wanting to train the younger generation of wrestlers. When I was looking at getting into wrestling, you know, it wasn't as easy. And I think it might be a little too easy now, but that's a discussion for a different day. But you know, the place where I found, if I'd had to find, you know, Windy City or an HWA, someplace like that, and come up with $3,000 to be able to pay for my training, I might not be a wrestler right now. But New Midwest opened up in Springfield, and I could train for like $50 a month. And I've always known how lucky I was to be able to do that. And part of, kind of sort of, my way of paying back the business for giving me that opportunity is to, you know, lead the way, to help offer that situation sometimes to some other people. I still believe you should pay for training. I still believe it should take work. Like, it's not just easy to get into wrestling, but to do my part, to maybe open some doors for some guys who may or may not be able to open those doors otherwise. I feel like has been sort of a way for me to pay back the business. This is so good. This white chili, so good. Exactly what I hoped it would be. Speaking of food, Luke also asked if you could only eat one junk food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Pizza, obviously. Tim wants to know if I could wrestle anybody other than Randy Orton from any other era, who would it be? That's a tough one. I mean, that's just I don't give that too much thought. Like, oh, I wish I could wrestle this guy. I wish I could wrestle that guy. You know, I guess I would say Jake Roberts. Because, man, there was just nobody else like Jake ever. There's nobody who worked like Jake, nobody who talked like Jake. So he'd be a good one to get a chance to go with. It would be a unique, only Jake Roberts experience. Who do I compare my wrestling style to? Nobody, really. You know, I've done a lot of work. I've tried very hard not to pattern myself after anybody specifically. Like, I've tried very hard to kind of craft my own style, to kind of do my own thing. Some guys I can say definitely influenced me. Rick the Model Martel, obviously Harley Race, Bret Hart. I watched so much Bret Hart when I was trying to figure out how to do this thing. But I don't know if I wrestle like any of them. I hope not. I hope I hope I'm a bit more of an individual than that. Finally, Tim asked if I would travel more given the chance. You know, when I was coming up, I never was interested in traveling much. It was kind of a WWF, WWE, or bust scenario. And at the time when I was coming up, like traveling more and becoming the indie darling, that was not the path to the WWE at the time. So I was never real interested in traveling a lot. I didn't want to go to Japan or anything like that. Now that WWE is no longer the goal, yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind traveling out, having some more experiences. Miss Fiona wants to know if there's, since I'm such a big fan of The Rock, if there's anything about his career that I would have changed. The simple answer is that I would have wanted more of it, but specifically there was a time when he came back in 2003. He wrestled Hulk Hogan again, he wrestled Stone Cold at WrestleMania 19, and then he wrestled Goldberg. And he was doing this character that was like very cocky, very like kind of almost even like an old school heel, I would say. Very, I'm from Hollywood. I loved that character. I wish he would have ran out the rest of that year doing that. He could have feuded, he could have had programs with Shawn Michaels had he done that. And that was also Eddie Guerrero's breakout year. So we could have gotten The Rock as a heel working with Latino Heat. She also wanted to know if I had any good, cool memories of Harley race, and unfortunately I don't really. When I was at Harley's, he was not in the greatest of health at that time, so it's not like he got real involved in training or anything. I was one of the lucky ones. One of the girls that trained with us, she couldn't make training every night, so she would come in during the day and the afternoons. And I was lucky enough to have afternoons off, and Harley was kind of working with her like one-on-one, and they invited me because they knew I had afternoons off. So like I did get to go in and kind of get some two-on-one training with Harley that not everybody was getting at that time. So that's kind of the coolest story I have about Harley. Final question of the day. Robbie wants to know why on earth I wore purple tights at ACW last week. Simple, real simple. I'm tagging with Reed Rain there. He had a pair of tights that matched the design, different colors, but the design was the same. So we could look like a tag team. So we wore matching tights. It's pretty simple. You'll probably see more of those purple tights as I continue to work down at ACW more. That's all for today. Thank you everybody who asked a question. I hoped my answers were enlightening. I hope you enjoy this. I always enjoy when we get to do Q&As. I like getting that kind of back and forth with you guys. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all tomorrow.